Hey gang, Taki here. Hope you're doing incredibly well. In today's Ask Taki, I've got a great question from Emily, who asked, love your advice on how I can create a culture and understanding in my higher-end group program that it's a rolling community intended for them to stay a while, like in Black Belt. This hasn't historically been how my programs have been run, but I want to shift this. I know I can pre-frame this in future sales, but for the clients who are in the program now, they consider it a year long. And it sounds like people are already starting to think about, the year's nearly up. So the question really is, how do I make sure that the people in my program know that we're not just here for a short time, but we're here for a long time to really get the results we're after? Super great question, Emily. I've got 9 things that you can do. Don't need to do all 9, but I just wanted to get these out on camera. So for anyone who wants to keep their clients longer, I think this would be super useful. I'm in London right now at my friend Shah Wasman's house/office. We're leaving here in a few minutes. Kids are playing in there, and I want to get this filmed before I go. So let's talk about how to make people stick longer. Deal? Okay. So here's the first key. The first time to position people that it's not a 12-month and done program, but it's an ongoing program, is at the point of sale. And so let's just call this at sales. What we do is we position that it's a 3-year program with a 1-year commitment. And so they know upfront that it's designed to be 3 years plus our journey. But right now we're just talking about our first year, and if we love it, year 2 or 3. I know a couple of great coaches. Shout out to the one and only Alex Hormozy, whose high-level program is this is how much it costs, but I'll let you pay it off over 3 years, and it's positioned as 3 years upfront. But I think the positionings should start at sales. Emily, I know that you want to know what to do with the people who have already bought, but start there from now on. Okay, so that's number 1. Start at sales. 2. Let's call that 1. Number 2, theme your years. Theme your years. And so instead of just saying, hey, it's a 3-year program, and what happens in year 2? Well, it's kind of the same again. What happens in year 3? Well, it's kind of the same again. Let's theme the years a little bit. So if I just kind of bring this dude up. What's going on? I just want to get the top of my letter T. There we go, bam. If you theme your years so that there's a clear difference between year 1 and 2 and 3, like think about their results in the program over time, with year 1 and 2 and 3. Make sure that it's positioned as a journey, and that each year has a theme, a focus, a name. And so one of the ways we do this is we talk about year 1 as foundation. And we repeat this conversation often through the program. So year 1 is foundation, and in foundation we're going to stop doing some stuff that didn't work. We're going to add some new things, and you're going to build a great foundation. By the way, really important that you don't just sell it as foundation, do lots of hard work and don't get results, because that's not the case. But I want to set up that year 1's amazing, year 2 and 3 are even better. Okay. Foundation, then acceleration. There's a point where you really get some traction and things start to move. And then finally, multiplication or domination or whatever you want. But theme, year 1's about this, year 2's about that, year 3 is about the other thing. Is that cool? Number 3, and this might make more sense for Black Belt members than others, but still useful, is to genius model out your curriculum. And Simon Bowen, an incredible client of ours and a great friend, invented this cool tool called the Genius Model. And in essence, we've got our curriculum broken up into 3 core areas: attract and convert and deliver. And each one of these 3 key areas has 3 accelerators. So 3 things we do in attract, 3 things we do to convert clients, and 3 ways we deliver leverage group coaching. So what we do as we teach our curriculum through the months is we walk through the Genius Model. But in terms of the live intensives, Emily, in year one, we'll be focusing on one of the core attract strategies in terms of at the workshop, the masterclass on day one Thursday. So we'll be doing fill funnel here, and maybe here we're doing audition clients sell one-on-one, and maybe here we're doing unpack IP. Now I'm not saying we don't teach the other things, but at the live events we have a one-day masterclass on that, which means that in year two we can focus on warming up prospects. The second attract strategy. And here we can focus on selling with webinars. And here we can decide business model, right? And then in year three, you've seen where this goes, right? In year three, we build authority. And I'm not saying you have to wait till year three to do that, but you get the idea. Here we rock sales events, and here we leverage coaching. And so that way, each year has a focus and we're not repeating the same content again and again. Is this helpful? Does that make sense? So by doing that, you've got a 3-year curriculum easily that just goes deeper and deeper and deeper into the core drivers that really grow your client's business. Okay, so let's talk about number 4. Oops. In fact, let me just get my numbers in place. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 4, this sounds really simple, but almost nobody does it, is tell them what's coming, right? If they feel like, I've spent the money and they don't know what cool thing is coming up, then we need to let them know that something cool's coming. For example, there's a great dude called Ari Meisel, who's in Black Belt, who's got a course called the Optimized Operator. And so one of the things, Emily, I haven't told you or the other Black Belts yet, is that we've bought the rights to Ari Meisel's incredible Optimized Operator. And over the next week or two, we're gonna roll that out. So you'll have full access to this incredible course on how to optimize every part of your business, how to automate a ton of it, and then how to outsource the bits which can't be automated. And so that's something that's coming up. Does that make sense? So always let people know, not just what's new, but what's next. And inside Black Belt members, the next tab is a really key piece of that for us. Linked to tell them what's coming is show them your calendar. If they're signed up for a year long that started in January and finishes here, then, every 90 days, if you extend the calendar out, right? And this is linked to showing what's coming, but not just showing what's cool that's coming, but showing what's planned that's coming, what the topics are, what's coming up like that, and you'll do really well. Just make sure the calendar is, the calendar has runway as well. Number 6, reset their vision. People stop coaching when they run out of vision, and one of your jobs as coach is to keep their vision big, to show them what's possible and what's next. So in Black Belt, every time we get together, you've noticed we do the momentum game plan. We look back at all of the wins, we look at what you're confident about right now, we look into the future, and we set another set of future. And so we're not saying, hey, stick with us, but what we do is we ask people to see what's possible and then make a commitment to themselves and their future that there's a really good chance that will involve us. Make sense? But if they run out of future, they'll run out of your program. And that's kind of the key. So reset their vision often and early. Next up, I've got a couple of clients who do this, which I think is kind of cool. Instead of selling the standard 12-month program, they sell 14 months. And the only reason they do that is because people go, I started in March, so March is when it finishes. But 14 months is kind of a weird random term. So I'm not going to say too much about that. But if they start in March, but May is when it rolls over or expires, I think that's a cool thing. This wasn't part of my idea, but I think it's probably worth saying. So we might make this bonus idea number 10 while it's fresh in my head, is to early get the renewal conversation in. And so we renew at events, but we also do a one-on-one session at about the 10-month mark, which again is about vision and it's about recommitment. Okay? So that wasn't part of my 9, but I just thought of it now and it's useful. Emily, hopefully this is helpful. I know this is a big list. You don't have to do all of them. If you pick 3, you're probably going to be super well positioned, right? I think the next thing to do is to set a culture of, in our worlds, it's BB for life. And ridicule the idea publicly. And the moment anyone says, I'm a lifer, then reinforce it. And, part of your job is not just to teach great content, but to teach people what to want. And part of your deal is to encourage this, black belt for life culture and ridicule anyone who thinks about quitting early, which leads me to kind of the last idea, which I think is real key, is to coach to outcome. And so people come to us, our business is called $1 Million Coach, and our goal is to get 50 people this year to $1 million, right? Well, here's the most important thing. If you join a program and you're not at $1 million a year yet, then we've still got work to do. And so we just need to come back to outcome. Hey, you came here because you had this challenge and this challenge and this challenge, and you really wanted to get to, $84,000 a month. Where are we up to? We're at 50. Okay, well, 50 is really good. But we're not at $1 million a year yet, so there's still work to do. And just make sure that we are coaching to outcome, not to calendar. Because frankly, if somebody pulls out of our program before we've had $1 million a year, before they've got to $1 million a year, then I feel like I've let them down. And if somebody wants to leave earlier, then we've got this phrase that my friend Rowan Dredge told me, that if you let them off, you let them down. So it's just about reminding people what's possible and bringing them back to outcome. Is that helpful? So Emily, I've got to go in a second, pack my bags because we're leaving to Holland in about 20 minutes. But let's just kind of recap here. Things that you can do to get people to stick longer. Number 1, position it up front in the sales conversation. 3-year program with a 1-year commitment. Theme your years, your foundation, acceleration, multiplication. There's a bunch more, and it's not just giving them names, but there's a focus. And also, what do you add to your year 2 program, and what do you remove from your year 2 program? What are the people who are finishing up year 1 and going into year 2 need and want more of, and how do we design that? So the reason we do summit sessions and extra coaching, etc., is because of that idea. Genius model your content. Obviously, month to month in your training, you've got a content curriculum, but also in your live events. Let's theme them so it rolls over 3. Cool. Tell them what's coming. What's the cool thing that's coming up next? Not just immediately next, like next week, but next month or in 3 months, or what are you working on right now? At the event, what's the next intensive about? Tell them what's coming up next calendar-wise, and make sure that the calendar has runway ahead of where they're at. Reset their vision early and often, every chance you get. Sell an odd number of months. Set a culture and ridicule people who, ridicule the idea of, don't make fun of the people, but ridicule the idea that we'd leave early. And finally, coach to outcome. If they've come to you for a result and they're not there yet, remind them of the result and get them back on board. Last idea, bonus idea number 10, is get the renewal conversations in. All right, so that's probably enough from me, Emily. Hopefully that helps. 9 plus a bonus 10th idea about how to make your mastermind members stick longer. Thanks to Shah for letting me use her office, and hopefully that helps. I'll talk to you soon.